Hello and welcome to Creating Canon with your hosts AJ Hamilton and Nitro Pumpus.
Do you write those down?
Nope.
Or is it just
comes to me.
okay? It's like God speaking through you.
It's what you were meant to be called.
Honestly, if I was in a Fast and Furious movie, Nitro Pumpus.
Oh, hell yeah.
I would love. That would be my name. That would be it.
I mean, it's as good as Vin Diesel.
But that's his real name.
I know, and
It's not his character name. It's not his character name. That is his real life name.
I don't care. It should have been Vin Diesel.
It should have been.
It just makes more sense.
Yes. And this is John Unleaded and Nitro Pumpus. Yeah, that's me. I'm Nitro Pumpus.
Is that your character?
Yeah, I'm sort of a Creole. Okay. I'm the Creole edition to the Fast and the Furious. I'm gonna get that family. I want to join that family. Get some crawdaddies.
Let's drive on down to the swamps.
Go drive on there. You need a boat with a big propeller on the back, because I got 4 of them.
Watch out for them crocodiles.
Them alligators, crocodiles, them crocodiles, them be in Egypt. We be here in the swamps with the alligators.
Hey, you're listening to Creating Canon, Louisiana edition.
Nicholas C. Pappas.
Nicholas C. Pappas. Nicholas C. Pappas.
They're gonna go eat the Hamilton.
Before we get any crazier, Nick, what the hell did we watch today?
The Water Boy. No, we watched.
Mama said.
Mama said we should watch Gas Pump Girls from 1979.
Oh.
Yep, that's what we watched.
All right.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Gas Pump Girls, 1979. This is pre-Go-Go Boys years.
Okay, gotcha.
Only distributed by Canon Films.
Oh.
But, that counts for us.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, why not?
Yep, it's in the family.
Hey!
Tying it all together.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you.
Let's end the podcast now.
Done. Bye, everybody.
Bye. So anyways.
All right.
This is one of those, I guess the best way you could describe it is a teen sex comedy in the same vein as, like, Porky's. Maybe a little Revenge of the Nerds, but not quite.
Okay.
It was less plot-liney.
Less plot-liney and more, it had hijinks in it, but it wasn't as big of a scope. It was very much contained like Porky's.
Yeah.
With just the camps and, yeah.
Screwballs is another one that comes to mind. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I haven't, no.
It's, it's in the same vein.
You've seen 90% of all movies, haven't you?
I have seen 90% of all movies.
Yes.
And the 10% I haven't seen, I have at least read about.
Right,
so
sure. Yeah.
It's very rare that we come up with something where I'm like, what is that?
Indeed.
I don't know if that's a thing that I'm proud of or very sad about.
No,
honestly,
you can't take it back now.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
Now you've seen this movie as well.
Yeah, I hadn't seen this movie before.
All right.
I blind bought it on Blu-ray.
Nice.
And it is a nice addition to the collection.
Thank you, Amazon.
I really dug this movie.
Okay.
And unlike, I think, most of these kinds of movies, which, I saw like a million of these when I was a kid.
Yeah, of course.
And you go back and you rewatch them and you're like, I always feel like, fuck, that's pretty problematic.
Yes, yeah.
It's pretty... I don't use this word lightly, but there are a lot of usually, I'm going to use the word, rapey elements.
Yeah.
And again,
like aggressive men
characters.
Yeah.
Or like actually outright like acts of. This movie, I was really surprised.
This was so innocent.
In a weird way.
Right? Yeah.
There was only one sexual
scene. Act, yeah.
And it was just, I was like just fellatio, but
played
like,
as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the girl was she led it. She was interested. She was the one.
Yeah.
And, in all movies like this, there's a lot of, naked women.
Right.
But nothing
that seemed incidental to the whole thing. Like, there
Weirdly.
were only a couple of moments where it was... Well, I mean, the thing at the beginning.
Yes, that's the only time where
was a little in an aggressive fashion.
Yes,
or an unwanted fashion.
An unwanted fashion. Everything else the women in the movie were fully aware of and
Had full agency. Yeah.
Which was kind of neat to see in a movie of 1979.
It was.
I guess, though, and you kind of pointed this out off air, so I'm going to give you the credit.
Please.
But it also, though, was, written by, 3 dudes?
Sure. Directed by
a dude, Joel Bender. But Bender wrote it with a guy named David Davies and
who was
Isaac.
his student or something.
That's what he said, I think.
Yeah, in the interview.
And then Isaac Blech, who did the music on this as well. I actually kind of liked the music. It was sort of fun in like a bad Paul Williams ripoff sort of way.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, although I found it delightful.
Yeah,
I found this whole movie delightful.
Absolutely, it wasn't overbearing.
No.
It fit with all of the events that were going on.
Yeah.
It was a fun thing.
Yeah.
Before we get any further into the weeds.
Oh yeah,
let's tell everybody what the very complicated plot was.
I know
in
this is so complicated. When Uncle Joe has a heart attack, he enlists his favorite niece, June, and her friends to run his failing gas station. The 5 young women use their, assets to get customers to, stand at attention.
Is that it?
That's it. I mean, like, what else is there?
Yeah, no, they absolutely use their feminine wiles to get some guys into the gas station.
I was going to say, I've just had this thought of, there is an interesting thought that we're talking about it, like, it's not that big of a deal, being 2 dudes.
Right.
I wonder how females would react to elements of this movie and be so flippant about it as we are.
Well, I would say in defense of this movie, and I'm not defending it outright, I'm just playing devil's advocate in this situation.
Typical white dude.
It's true. I have not struggled whatsoever in my life.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate.
So I can absolutely take both sides.
Yeah.
Go me. Thanks for pointing that out. No, but what I was saying is, in this situation, Joe actually doesn't enlist the girls to help out. He sort of, I mean, if anything, he may guilt them. He sort of, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do since I have this heart attack.
It actually
wasn't
even him. It was Aunt Harriet, Joe's wife, who had that incredible speech that came out of nowhere. That was so fucking weird.
Yeah,
this monologue, and this is a little later in the movie, where she's just like. Her husband is like in bed. The doctor's like, he's not doing well. He just had a heart attack.
Yeah.
They walk out and she's like, oh, and the whole family, including June, is like, oh, poor Uncle Joe. And she's like, and I don't know what we're going to do about the gas station. He says that gas station's a little piece of heaven. He says as long as he has that gas station, he's happy. But now I guess we'll have to sell that gas station. Oh, God, that gas station. That gas station is everything to him. Oh, the gas station. Gas station, gas station, gas station. And then June just sort of like...
Well, June decides that, you know what? I'm out of high school.
Yeah,
I got the summer free.
I'm going to do this.
I'm going to take this on. And while she's
she
deciding...
enlists her friends.
She enlists her friends, and she actually sings a beautiful little song.
The one song in the movie.
I turned to Nick, and I was like, this is a musical? You didn't tell me this was a musical.
I was like, I didn't know it was a musical.
And it's
not.
It's the only one that she sings, or anyone sings in the whole movie.
It was a delightful song, though.
It was wonderful. I got all of my friends. It's gonna be fun. Oh, might we also point out that before she converts it into Joe's super... What is it?
Super duper.
Super duper. The gas pumps have the word... It almost looks like misspelled chevron.
Yeah.
But it's Hevon. A little piece of heaven.
Piece of heaven.
Going along with our NOLA bent.
Yeah, holy crap. We should probably start at the beginning.
Okay.
Right?
I guess.
I mean, the movie
What
starts...
else happens? I mean, there's... Yeah. The movie starts, they're graduating from high school. From what was the Hometown High School?
Hometown High. But before they graduate from Hometown High, the movie actually starts with this like beautiful, gigantic, huge service station with like 30 people working at it. And it's just this overhead shot, and it's like really gorgeous, modern, wonderful gas station.
And over it, there's this
the credits.
Well, the credits and also like a hometown DJ talking
Yes.
about, hey, everybody, getting ready for the 3 R's of rest,
Summer.
relaxation, and running around the living room chasing your girlfriend.
Yeah. It's all about how summer's here and how great it's going to be and what are you going to do and our high school students are graduating, blah, 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 blah. And then, in one of my favorite shots of the movie, actually, is the first shot. It pans from that gigantic, beautiful gas
Crane
station
shot,
to this gas station across the streets that is 2 pumps, rinky-dink, and it looks like it's about to fall apart.
Yeah.
And that is Uncle Joe's station. I just thought it was a really great visual, going from that modern station to that shit gas station.
Yeah. And it also introduces us to Uncle Joe, played by Huntz Hall.
Huntz Hall was part of the East Side Kids / Bowery Boys films.
Bowery Boys, right, yeah.
They started off with this movie called Dead End, was the first one.
Okay.
I think Dead End was like in the 30s. It might be early 40s.
Well, he was 81. Well, he died in 99, and he was, he was 78. So he was around for quite a while.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Interesting side story about Dead End. Dead End was made into a play. That I saw at the Amundsen Theater, which is this huge theater in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was crazy about this play is it takes place at, like, the docks. I mean, that's why it's called, it's like right at the Hudson River, right at the Bowery, right? Like that's why it's called the Bowery Boys. And what they did at the Amundsen, and this must have cost millions of dollars, the huge orchestra pit that they have, they completely
filled it with water.
That's exactly what they did.
Oh my God.
They lowered it.
Yeah.
And they
Put a big tank in it?
Basically put like a tank in and they filled it with water.
Oh my God.
That the actors were able to like jump off the stage and do like backflips and like pretty high off the stage, deep into the water. And
Jesus,
I worked there later, and I heard that it wreaked some huge fucking havoc on everything.
I can imagine.
Like, it cost like millions of dollars to do. The play did not do well, and the it just was not a. It was, but yeah,
worth it.
Interesting. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in a theater. Though,
Jesus,
is the fact that they took the orchestra pit and made it the fucking Hudson River.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
wow.
But yeah, so like I know that first movie at least.
Yeah, right.
Based off the play, it was crazy.
Awesome. Well, also a couple of funny things about Huntz Hall. He retired in his 50s or 60s, I think.
After doing like 81 of these Bowery movies.
So many movies.
Bowery Boys movies.
Wow. And Gas Pump Girls.
And Gas Pump Girls.
But he was actually doing pretty well because he owned 10% of Bowery Boys.
Oh, that's
films.
crazy.
And
well, he was the original, so that makes sense that he would stay through all the way.
Absolutely. But also, funny enough, the interesting thing about him being the owner of a shitty little gas station is he had made some very good investments in gas and oil.
Really?
Yes.
Prior
to this movie, yes.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it must have been also prior to 73, I would assume, because those were the two gas.
Right?
Yes.
And the second one was
the year this came out.
Right?
Which is so funny because, I mean, I don't think it was at the point where they were doing the every other day gas station.
That was 73.
That was the 73 one, yes. But 79 also had some bad effects. You know, OPEC had bumped up the people thought that it was artificially inflated, and there was a lot of issues with that type of stuff.
Interesting.
Barrels were huge through the roof, but after that, there was a 20-year decline in gas prices.
Can we do that again?
I'd love that, but
the decline part.
That would be great.
Not the other side.
I remember, this is going to date me, but I remember when I started.
At least somebody will.
Damn.
Ooh, that was fire.
Harsh.
Damn. Boom.
Yeah. But when I started driving, I remember the gas prices were $1.75.
That's me, like under $2 a gallon.
And then because of the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War, I remember it shooting up to over $5.
Yep. And now it hovers around 4 in California.
Yeah, exactly.
This'll make you want to punch something in the face.
Please.
When I go to Nebraska every year. There's a few places I go every year. That's sort of middle America.
Mm-hmm.
Gas prices are like $1.70.
Awesome.
Yeah. Did you feel like you wanted to vomit and kill things?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. No, I drive over to Arizona to visit my family every year, and it's about 50 cents to $1 cheaper than what it is in LA. So thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, California.
But you know what, though? We get to live in California. Where,
We do. I'm
like
30 minutes from the beach. It's pretty.
Yeah, and then
nice.
like 30 minutes from the mountains.
Oh, yeah.
You get all the concerts you want to see.
That's right. I go to Starbucks with famous people all the time.
Seriously, we get to go see like movies where Ron Howard's sitting in the audience.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Quentin Tarantino. So, you know,
Vince Gilligan
we get
was in the
that.
audience one time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, remember Need for Speed with Aaron Paul?
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
he came in to the press screening to support his boy.
That's amazing.
Pretty cool.
Anyways.
Anyway, that's the end of LA Corner for
Yeah,
you.
LA. Bum, 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 bum. LA Corner. Fuck.
Good. Excellent.
I'm glad we did that.
Nate's our producer Nate is gonna make us cut all of that out.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, probably not. Shut up, Nate. Anyway, so we get into high school.
Yes.
Right? And June and her friends and her boyfriend and his friends are all graduating, right?
Yes. June, April, January. Plain Jane
And Betty. Yep.
Betty is a real Betty.
She is.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. And June is a real Veronica.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's not actually their actors' names.
No,
They're just like
no.
from Archie comics.
Yes.
That's definitely true.
Yeah. And Pee-wee is a real Jughead. Anyways.
Oh, and we also, yes, during that, we also meet the Vultures.
The Vultures. Who are sort of like the Sweat Hogs.
Yeah.
Slash, what were they called in Greece?
Thunderbirds.
T-Birds.
T-Birds. Yeah,
Yep.
not Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were basically the same thing, except all just a little bit pudgy.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Yeah.
And the character Pee-wee, who was one of the T-Birds, who is one of those guys that, like, I guarantee you've seen him. He's played by Ken Lerner.
Yeah. He's most recently been in The Goldbergs.
Yeah, he was in a bunch of... He's been in, like, 150 things.
Right.
But in this movie, he's conservatively, like, 35 in high school.
Definitely.
And he's, like, a nebbish Jewish man who's, like, also
A
badass
schizophrenic
biker.
Oh, okay. Also, he's like the goofiest one of the group. He's
Well,
like,
that's what I mean. Like,
he claims that he's bringing his motorcycle to the dance that
yes.
night. He introduces...
I love that whole thing.
Yeah.
Myrtle.
Moidle, yeah.
This is my girlfriend, Moidle.
You know who he reminded me of? He had the same kind of sense of humor as Klinger from MASH.
Yeah.
In a way where he was the goofy weird one of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other two were just straight like.
Well, one was Zac Efron.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, not actually, but he looked like Zac Efron.
Yes, like a bleached blonde Zac Efron.
Yeah.
But they were both just typical like greaser toughs.
guy. Yeah. But there was definitely with Ken Lerner. I was gonna say Michael Lerner. That's a different actor. With Ken Lerner, they definitely just threw the camera on. And were like, do your thing. Just go
nuts.
have fun.
Literally. And he is the one who sort of instigates the first showing of boobage.
Yes.
He sneaks up behind the chairs that all the graduating girls are sitting in, and he ties their gowns to their chairs, I believe.
I think.
And then they go into a musical number. Oh, there's two musical numbers.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, that one's like a choir
but
number.
It's choir, yes. But they all stand up.
Oh, wait, before that, can we
Yes.
just give credit to the principal?
Oh, God.
Who's like Ben Stein on Quaaludes.
Yes.
I actually thought gave a great performance in just like
Oh, yeah, boring
like
all the
weird
kids.
monologue.
Yeah, telling them, and I remember when I was
Matriculating. I mean, it was so...
I had that piece of paper 25 years ago.
I thought to myself, I also am a graduate. He was really weirdly funny.
He was perfect.
I laughed.
Perfectly cast.
I
yeah.
laughed so hard.
And all of the reaction shots of the kids in the audience being like, oh my God.
This guy still.
Jesus.
Fuck.
Well, the girl who was just eating her tassel.
Yes, for fun. Yeah. Oh, boy.
God. But when they get up to sing, they apparently have a move where they're each going to step forward and sing their part. And as the girls step forward, their gowns get ripped off. And they're not wearing anything but panties underneath their gowns.
For some weird reason.
Don't know why.
Yeah. So April, played by Sandy Johnson, who was also in Hots, which is another one of those like teen sex comedies.
Okay.
Also, probably her most famous role was Judith Myers in the original Halloween movie.
Yes.
She was also a Playmate of the Month in Playboy.
According to Joel Bender.
Yeah,
as he told us, yeah.
She is the one who, of all of the 5 girls who this happens to, she's just standing there, happy as hell.
Yeah.
Like, hey, everybody, look at these. And she even talks about, like, she's how like, great it is.
I kind of got a rush out of that.
Look at all the power I had just from these.
Well, and then Betty Linda Lawrence... the
actress is Linda Lawrence.
Right. She gives this interesting speech when they're all in the locker room afterwards. She's like, no, you make them work for it.
Yeah.
You don't give it away for free, which is sort of funny because it's the exact opposite sort of way that they run the business.
Well, except for her. She is like, the whole time, she's like, this is stupid. I don't want to do this. Ugh, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Sure.
Like... The rest of the girls are, like, way into running the business. She's the one who's sort of like,
this is degrading.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and we've already talked about that night.
The dance.
And then after the dance, they go by Uncle Joe's.
Oh, wait. No. Before that, this was one of my most favorite moments of the entire movie.
What's that?
June, who is our lead, and her boyfriend, who is...
Oh, my God.
Well, I don't know. Roger,
one of them.
I think.
Sure.
And we'll just go with Roger. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Anyways, June and Roger are sitting in the car, and Roger's like, close your eyes. And he gives her a kiss, and he's like, oh, think of the good times. Think of the sad times. When we laughed, when we cried. He, like, does this whole monologue. And you think he's going to lean up to, like, we should have sex, right? Like, that's where I thought he was going with it.
Me too, yeah.
And all of a sudden he just goes, we could never see each other again.
We might
never. In fact, this could be the last time you and I see each other. And then he has this face of existential dread, and June just looks at him for like 30 seconds where he's unmoving, freaking out.
Yeah.
And then she just gets out of the car and goes inside, and he's like, God. And then he finally drives away.
Yeah.
I laughed so fucking hard.
It was a super weird moment, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
And then that's when she goes over. Nobody's home. She calls her mom. Where are you? She's over at Aunt Harriet's.
Yep.
Uncle Joe's had a heart attack.
And before Roger, or whoever his name is, had dropped her off, all 6 of the friends or whatever had, 5 of the girls and 2 or 3 of the guys, had gone to Uncle Joe's
to get gas.
And June had talked to Uncle Joe because she's his favorite niece, which he says 3 times incredibly creepily.
Yeah, and the first time he's like, oh, you're my favorite niece. You're my favorite niece.
Yeah.
Let me get a look at you.
Well, and
he like looks her up and down as if he's like Rodney Dangerfield.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But she asks him, she's like, hey, how are you doing? He was like, I don't feel so well. All over my back, my neck, my pussy, my crack.
Did you say my pussy?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
You know that song.
No.
Well, and then he also says, oh my God, it hurts down here in my heart area. And she was like, oh, you're fine. You're going to be fine. Whatever. And then after she gets home,
he's had a heart attack.
She's had a heart attack. So if she had just told somebody, said, hey, my uncle isn't feeling so well, maybe she could have prevented it. At least give him an aspirin.
Seriously.
Come on.
Nitrate pill.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, that leads to her singing her wonderful song.
Well, that's when Aunt Harriet does the monologue.
Of course.
And then the song.
And she, I guess that gives her the inspiration to clean up the gas station and
clean up montage. Montage.
See, here's the thing: it's very odd. You think about a montage.
Yep.
In an 80s movie.
This was not one of
those. And
it's
like active, it's like quick cuts, and it's all that. It's just them sweeping up a pile of garbage and one girl pretending to scrub off the top of the sign or whatever.
The awning.
The awning. And
it's clear she's not rubbing the awning.
No. She's like 5 inches away from it.
Yes. And also when they're sweeping up that trash, they're like pushing the trash into the middle of the parking lot.
Yeah.
And one of them just keeps pushing the trash further to the right. And then the others are like trying to push it back to the left.
Towards, I would assume, a garbage
trash can or something.
But they got to keep it in frame.
Yes. And that's happening at Joe's.
Yep.
When across the street at the Pyramid gas station, which is the fancy one.
Yes, and that's where we're introduced to Mr. Friendly.
Who is not so friendly.
Oh my god, who would have thought?
No, he keeps looking over and he's like, what are those stupid dames doing? Don't they know this is a business? Dames pumping gas. Who would even pump gas? Girls pumping gas. Oh, that's so gross.
Constantly chewing on a cigar.
That was one thing in this movie that I couldn't get over is
there are so many people smoking near, like
gas
very
pumps.
near gas pumps.
Like
it's not the
gas and smoking.
It's
at
not
the,
the
same time.
liquid. It is the vapors.
Yeah.
That are.
I got the vapors.
Oh my! But that's what lights on fire.
Yeah,
folks.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Don't even use your cell phone near gas pumps. That's what I've heard.
Yes, I've
there
heard
might
the same
be
thing.
sparks and static and shit. Don't do it.
But anyway.
But they don't care. They don't give a shit. It's 1979.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They have
Also,
this whole bit about June explains how to pump gas to, I think it's...
Plain Jane, I think?
It was either Plain Jane or it was April.
April, okay.
And it's the most sexually suggestive monologue ever about gas pumping. And it finally gets down to, she's like, well, I just don't know if I can do it. And June, I wrote this down.
Yeah.
And June just goes, just remember.
4 steps.
4 steps. Grab it, stick it in, squeeze it, let it peter out. And I also thought that was actually... some very clever writing.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, you expect this thing to be packed with innuendo.
Yeah.
And of course it is.
That it
and yet, there's only like 2 super explicit parts.
Yes.
There's that, and then there's the
first guy.
The first guy who comes up and he's like, you gotta fill me up, but also, can you look under my hood?
Yeah, and he goes on this whole thing, this whole rant.
He lists off some things. He's like, well, you know, my ball joints are all out of whack, and it's rubbing up against the lube shaft and the crankshaft and different things like that. Yeah,
which is actually really funny too, because he does this whole monologue, and the girls are like, I don't know. So then they call their boyfriends to come and help out.
Yes.
So that's how the boys get involved out of nowhere, and this guy I'm imagining is like,
no,
I wanted you girls to touch my penis.
Jesus.
Not fix.
I didn't. There's nothing wrong with my truck.
I don't want.
It's fine.
This. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So those 3 guys, the 3 boyfriends.
Boyfriends, I guess,
or we'll call them just like the regular high school kids.
The dudes,
one of them is definitely June's boyfriend.
Right. Yeah.
They just are mechanics.
Yeah.
And then of course there's like a sex romp during a car repair.
We were super confused because they're repairing brakes, I guess. They're looking at brakes, and they raise it up onto the lift.
And there's the guy is still sitting in the car. He's pulled it onto the lift.
Yeah, and apparently he's the one to test it. He pushes the brake in.
But
and
is that the way... I don't repair cars.
I'm bad at that, too.
Okay.
But I mean, it does make sense that you would need somebody to activate it, but I think you could just... look at the
I think you would
the
just
linkage
do that when it gets
and figure
down.
it out. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, regardless, I can't say yes or no. But at the same time, he is up inside of the car.
Yeah,
and out pops.
It was April.
April.
Sandy Johnson.
Sandy Johnson. And
Sandy, they got their money's worth from Playmate of the Month, Sandy Johnson in this movie.
Yes, indeed they did, because she comes out of the back seat topless.
Yep.
And she proceeds to make out with this fellow and go down, pull off the
coveralls.
She works the crankshaft, we'll say.
Hey-o!
And then he keeps yelling out that do something else.
Yeah,
they need
the car keeps lowering like the brakes. He's like, no, oil, change the oil.
Yeah. Okay.
The ball bearings.
Rotate the tires.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then they finally, like, he's moaning it out at them at one point, and they're like, oh,
we get it.
We get it. We figured it out.
Happening.
This is a silly clubhouse of sex. And then I think the next significant incident is probably the vultures come back into the story.
Yeah, the vultures are like gonna break up the shop.
Well, they're bored. One day, and they're like, hey, we're gonna throw your garbage on the floor, and that's how are you ever gonna fix that, because you obviously don't know how to sweep.
Yeah, and then and then June is like, well, well, you guys seem like tough guys, and
well, they get into
that's
that
right,
weird.
that weird.
So there's this nonsensical part.
This is the part that's nonsensical?
I think mostly.
Yeah.
The most nonsensical. Because the entire team confronts these guys.
They accidentally throw the vultures accidentally throw oil on Betty.
That's right. And then she goes behind tires and changes. And then they all sort of, all the
Walk
people
away.
working there disperse. Like, there's still a conflict going on.
They go back to work.
And the guys are underneath, the high school boys are underneath the hood of a car. And the vultures come over, and one of them takes a wrench and does something in the car to make oil squirt out on one of the high school boys.
So the high school boy then squirts oil on the vulture.
Yep, and then the vulture grabs some other tool and does something to squirt water on the high school boy. And the high school boy squirts water on...
But what ends
that
up
apparently
happening...
fixes the car.
Yeah, because it's going like a... Blah, 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 and then it just, like, starts working perfectly.
Yep, yeah.
And June is like, oh my god, you're so talented.
Yeah.
Why don't you work here?
Yeah.
And the vultures are like, she's trying to take advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
And like the lead vulture's like, no, I see into her eyes, and she's
true,
genuine and true. And then the vultures just start working at the gas.
They become the tow team.
Yep. When they vulturize the truck,
they pick up a car and they start practicing breaking into cars with a hanger. And there's that rip-off Pink Panther music.
Yeah, that was great.
And it comes back later when they're doing a heist.
Yeah, they do like a little heist thing later, and they do it then too.
God. And at that point, since we got all of our main characters together, and there's really no conflict to the vultures
Hold
anymore.
on, we have to sing ooh ah ooh ah
ooh ah ooh ah ooh ah ooh ah. Your mother is a ooh ah.
And then later on they add, Your sister is a ooh-wah. And that's it. They sing the song like 19 times in the movie. I found it delightful. It never failed to make me smile.
I also loved their, you're not going to tame the vulture.
Yes.
They lean over
and like wave their arms.
Oh my god.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
And this, you're right. At this point,
it switches from them being the bad guys to Mr. Friendly, who has just sort of been passive to this point.
Before this, we do have to talk about... So, like, all of the people in town are going to this gas station to the point where they have just a gigantic dance number.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, it's like they're dancing like a...
It's like a sock hop.
It's like a high... Yeah, exactly. And one of the vultures and Betty are just, like, dancing in front of everybody.
Yep.
And... my favorite guy in this movie.
Pee-wee!
Nope, not Pee-wee.
Okay.
It's the other dude who is just the extra, the white dude who has no rhythm.
Oh, the clapping.
Yes. Everyone's clapping along, and this one dude is like if everyone is like, this guy was like...
Yeah, it was completely off rhythm. God.
I couldn't
clapping on the downbeat.
And that's when Mr. Friendly, at this point, like, looks over.
Okay.
And is like,
how dare
they've stolen all my business.
Which is, I mean, I've seen tons of gas stations on two sides of a street.
Yes.
And they're doing just fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe he's hurting a little bit because he's never felt a competition before.
Right, I guess. So he calls up the head of Pyramid Gas. I can't even remember that dude's name.
Mr. Shim.
Mr.
Shim.
Oh, actually, no. Before that, he sends over some mobster guys.
Oh, yeah.
Bruno and Moiv.
Moiv. Which is, it's not Merv with an accent. It's M-O-I-V.
Yeah. That dude, Moiv is played by a dude named Mike Mazurki, who was in the original Dick Tracy. He was in Something Like It Hot. He was in like 100 movies.
Wow.
All playing basically that same strong man.
Okay.
Like, I'm gonna crack my knuckles and
like a wrestler from those times.
Yeah.
Kind of. Not
He's always a gangster.
Not fit, but barrel chested. Yeah, exactly. And he also has a partner, Bruno, who is Joe E. Ross, who
from
was
Car 54. Where are you?
And he did a lot of that type
Phil
of
Silver's
stuff
show.
back in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just
they come in. They're really. It was kind of shocking.
Yes.
It was because they threatened to shoot her in the face.
Yeah, like literally murder her.
Yeah, it was the thing that felt the most out of place in this movie because it was a funny concept. But if they had been cartoonish gangsters, I would have given it a pass. But the fact that they're like, listen, your brains are going to be all over the place.
Like, spread your pretty brains
crap,
everywhere,
man.
And it's only specifically June and in the office. And June does something really smart where she actually reaches behind her and turns on the PA system. And then everyone working at the gas station can hear what's happening.
Yeah.
And then they come up with this plan that is insanity.
Yeah.
Where the girls will just take turns walking past a door with their tops off. And like Moive is talking to June and Bruno's like, Moive, did you see what I saw? Did you see this? Hey, the booby. Did you see what I saw? Moive, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check that out, Moive. Oh, God, did you see?
Shut up, Bruno.
Oh, no, but did you see what I saw?
Stop it, Bruno.
I ain't seen a thing. Oh, but you see? I'm gonna go check it out, Moive. I can't. Oh, my. I gotta follow that.
And he does.
And he gets cracked on the head with a 2x4.
By one of the vultures. Yep.
And he just goes down. And he's laying there.
In the doorway.
And then Moive finally looks over and sees like one of the girls
one of the other girls, January,
I
think,
And he's like, oh, I now see what you saw.
Yeah.
I'm going to head over there myself. I don't know why he's doing Charles Bronson. And like he walks out there and he just gets 2x4 to the back of the head.
Both of them hit a 2x4s and
falls down next to Bruno.
Yeah.
And then we never see him again.
No, which I believe that there's a darker story.
Yes.
Because I think that they hid them in oil barrels and destroyed them.
Yes, they are rotting.
Sleeping with the fishes.
Yes, that is exactly what's happening.
That's right.
They have been decomposing in oil barrels. Like they're no longer skin, they're just bone.
Yep.
And even that bone is sort of like, because of the material that they were put in was so corrosive.
Yes.
That bone is turned into like a form of jelly.
Yeah. And I mean, happy endings all around, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. They deserve it. They were threatening the girl with death. Anyway, no, Jesus Christ. But since that doesn't work, Mr. Friendly then decides to call Mr. Shim, cut them off their gas supply.
Yep.
And they're like, oh no, what are we going to do? This is awful. And they try a couple of things? No, just one thing, really, which is the oddest heist.
Yes, they bring a gigantic hose.
Like,
from one side, from like across the street, huge hose.
And it's Pee-wee and one of the vultures. One of the other vultures.
No, the high school boy. It's Pee-wee and one of the high school boys. Oh, it is.
Okay. And the high school boy is wearing a camo helmet.
With a tree on it.
With a piece of tree on it. And I didn't understand this at all, because when you see the wide shot during the heist, it's during complete daylight.
No, it's dark.
No, when they set the hose.
The hose, right.
It's completely dark.
I see.
But then when they have the heist.
So what the heist is, let's just explain the heist. Because I thought what was going to happen was they were going to
pump it from one place to the other.
What they do is, after they get the hose set the next day, they all pretend they've gone to the beach. They come back. The girls are in the bathing suits.
Right.
And they say, like, fill me up.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, it's broad daylight.
Yeah.
They start filling the tank. And then they take the hose and attach it to the tank.
In the back of the car.
In the back
underneath,
of the car, underneath. Which then goes across the street, and they start filling in their own gas supply.
Right.
And I think what you were going to say is that...
Yeah. When you see the wide shot, it's just laying in the middle of the street.
The hose.
The whole hose is laying in the middle of the street. So to not understand what is happening, like, of course you need a pump to move it.
Right.
And they don't have a pump to pump the liquid, so it just sort of runs across the street. I don't understand how it works. It doesn't work. But the fact that they didn't see it and don't question anything. Well, you know what? I was distracted a lot by that vulture with the short shorts and the boots.
Knee-high boots?
Yeah.
That was creepy.
That was very weird.
And everyone who was working at the gas station, and I think this is why they didn't see it. I think this was the whole point.
Is that they're distracted.
By the girls in the bikinis.
Yeah.
Which, at that moment, I understand why they didn't see the hose. But this presupposes that the hose has just been laying across the street
day.
all day.
Yeah.
That's the part where I'm like, wait
Exactly.
a second, hold on.
But the end of the heist is that they pump so much gas that it goes past the $99.99 point, rolls over to $0, and then goes up to $3.
Yeah, to be clear, we should mention that this is the old style gas pumps that aren't electric like ours with like a little digital display.
Right.
It is the old school on a spinning wheel, so when it hits $99.99, it can only go to 0.
Correct. And they do that for Super Duper, and
then
unleaded, regular, whatever.
Regular.
And so they get about $200 worth of gas
for $6.
For $6,
which I don't understand, because $6 is what it costs to fill a tank.
Yeah.
So at $200, I'm just gonna do the math here because I want to be super exact about this. They can only fill up 33 cars.
Okay. Yes. But like that would be from like almost empty.
Still.
I know.
That would last a morning the way how busy that place was.
Unfortunately, yes. But I think it was a valiant effort.
Totally.
But at that point, they get no more gas in. They're all sad and dejected and smoking. Even though it's empty, they are smoking on recently used gas pumps.
Listen, it's the vapors you got to worry about. It's not.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I know, AJ, I know. Relax.
No.
Relax.
But with that, she sees old Sam,
who is the
Big Sam. I don't know.
Big Sam. I
think. Sam, sure. And he's the gas delivery guy. And
we've never seen him before this point.
No. He only gets one scene. And she says, "Hey, why aren't you delivering to us anymore?" And he says, "Well, it's not me. I don't make the choices. You got to talk to Mr. Shim."
I want to say really quickly here, too, what I'm shocked by this whole thing is he worked specifically for Pyramid Gas.
Yes.
And Mr. Shim is Pyramid Gas.
Yeah.
And they are not Pyramid, so they would not be getting gas from Pyramid Gas.
Well, they might be.
But that's...
No,
it's Haven Gas.
Hevon,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's their gas company.
It's possible that they were both getting... I don't know. You're right.
No. There's no way. Because it would be a Pyramid gas station.
Yeah.
Not a Super Duper Joe's.
Well, I don't think Super Duper is a brand of gas.
No, I know that. But my point is...
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's the thing.
No, it doesn't make sense why competing gas stations would be getting the same gas unless he had a...
unless they were both pyramids. Which I have seen, like, a Chevron across the street from a Chevron.
And that's really weird.
It's really weird, but it's like a super busy intersection.
Yes, because you get both directions. And they're usually
like catty corner.
Sure.
They're not on the same side of the street. But
no,
anyways,
it doesn't matter. It turns out that she gets gas from
Sam, which makes no sense.
From Sam. And he says, "You know what? I feel bad for you. Follow my truck. I'll take you to Pyramid Gas."
Well, actually, the first thing she says is, "How do we get to Mr. Shim?" And he says, "Nobody talks to Mr. Shim unless you're an Arab sheik."
Oh, that's right.
And then he says, "Okay, follow me. I'll show you where he's at."
So they drive up to the gates on the Vultures motorcycles and in one of the guys' convertible cars.
Yep.
The security guard at the front, he says,
the cop,
you're not getting in here. They leave
for like 45 seconds
and drive back up in what can be conservatively called a
horribly offensively borderline racist chic outfit
and a consulate car.
Yeah, with a harem of, like, all the girls are dressed like a bad stereotype harem.
And the Vultures somehow found very accurate police uniforms.
Yep, and they're like a police detail for the consulate, this Arab chic consulate.
Sure. And so they are let in because he does a very bad Arab accent. One of the, Roger probably, does an accent. Oh, no, he doesn't even do an accent. He says mushy, mushy.
Burrow.
Yeah, super offensive.
Yeah.
Horribly offensive.
Yeah.
And they get onto the lot. Some supposedly actual Arab sheiks pass them, and it's the only part that is subtitled, and they say,
"If that is a real Arab, I'll eat my camel." Which, also, I want to point out that it's one subtitle that says, "If that's a real Arab, I'll eat my camel," yet two guys spoke.
Yeah, so we didn't get the response to that.
Yeah.
Which is...
Unless if one guy said, if that's a real Arab, and the other one interrupted him and said, I'll eat my camel.
Sure. Yeah, because that happens a lot in real life.
I said to AJ as we were watching the movie, if those guys are real Arabs...
I'll eat my camel.
I'll go get a camel
okay.
and eat it.
I mean, it's Hollywood magic.
Yeah.
Or Sacramento magic.
Or, yeah, you know what? We'll just leave it as this.
Regardless, they get in, and they confront Mr. Shim.
Mr. Shim.
And
Mr. Shim is like, who are you? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and he's speaking in a vaguely something accent.
I can't tell what that was.
I couldn't either.
I thought it was like German for a little while.
Maybe. I don't know. Regardless, he had an accent that did not sound like it was his.
Yes.
And so he says, hey, it's just business. I'm sorry. And he does this weird thing. He was like, hey, everybody's losing money. I'm sorry. And she's like, what about that? This was my favorite prop in the movie, I think, was
yeah.
She said, what about that? Points to, on the wall, a framed picture of their gross sales.
Yep. Year to date.
And he's like, oh, shoot, the cleaning woman must have flipped this upside down. He turns it upside down and then tries to hang it back on the wall, and it just falls.
And breaks.
And breaks.
It's glass.
Yep, of course.
Framed.
And
which
then
is weird.
And then she tells the story. She's like, really, I've got the saddest story ever.
Mm-hmm.
Which, let's recap. Her uncle had a heart attack, and she and her friends started working at a
That's it.
gas station.
That's the whole story. But it like does like a Wayne's World moment. We get back, and Mr. Shim is just crying. Bawling his eyes out.
June is too.
And he's like, that is the saddest story I've heard.
Yep.
You get all the gas. Or no, I'll fix this. And then we cut to...
the Pyramid Gas.
We
cut back to Joe's.
And it's closed down.
And we're all sad because it's all junky again.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And then we go across the street to Pyramid Gas, and guess who now owns Pyramid Gas? Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe!
And guess who works for Uncle Joe?
Mr. Friendly. Dang it.
And that's basically it. June comes in and is like, Uncle Joe, and he's like, oh, you're my favorite niece. Let me hold you, my favorite niece.
Ugh.
He's like, this was amazing. And she's like, well,
just wait until
next year. And then the movie ends.
There's nothing. There's a little bit of that announcer guy, the radio DJ again, saying, hey, everybody, be good to each other, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Behave yourself. I don't know.
And that was it. So what'd you think of this movie, AJ?
Such a light, fun romp.
I loved this movie. It was fun.
You know, okay, the one thing I will complain about is the actors, you could almost see when they had forgotten a line.
Oh, totally.
Like, they did not do multiple takes on this movie. Or they did, and that was the best they could get. Because there are parts where there are pauses in it. And maybe it's me, and it's a 1979 pace.
Yeah,
as well.
I think that could be part of it.
But I think there were a couple, like Pee-wee and a couple of the other actors in it are really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Joe, obviously.
Pee-wee's great.
Pee-wee. I would say I really liked Betty. Betty was actually one of the strongest actresses in it. But there were a couple of things where it was just like, you know how when you're watching a kid's play and like one of the kids forgets their lines and another kid leans over and they're like,
whispers the line.
Whatever, yeah, exactly. And it just felt kind of like that. In spots. It wasn't so glaring that it hurt the movie, but it was a funny little thing that I noticed.
You know what? Maybe. I don't know. I think it might be pace of like what a 1979 movie is. It's very different than pace that we're used to.
I could see on their faces that they were sort of working towards a line, you know?
Sure.
I don't know.
You know, this is the kind of thing, I mean, this is why I actually love, you know, just to like touch back on this of like, this is why I love this podcast, this is why I love doing this.
Yeah.
Is movies like this because, you know, to me, this was so delightful. Mm-hmm. I think everybody in this movie was giving it 110%.
Totally. Yes, absolutely.
They were having fun, which means I had fun. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important. So I saw, not to like shit on it, but I saw Aladdin, the new Disney live action movie this week. And it's not great.
All right.
But it's also not fun.
Yeah.
Because everybody in the movie, like, there's some people who are working their butts off, but,
Yeah.
like, I think most people in the movie are collecting a paycheck, and they're just, like, doing a thing.
Yeah.
And they are not going for it.
Well, and they're unfortunately part of a machine
Sure.
that is Disney.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much pressure there is to be in a Disney movie?
Sure,
Holy
sure,
crap.
sure.
I mean, you've got to be a really good actor and a really good performer to not have that weight affect you.
Sure.
I would say.
But yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like, I don't know. In watching that movie, it's not even the weight of it. It's like just no one fucking cared because everything's on a blue screen
That's fair.
or a green screen.
Yeah.
Like, everything is just...
Well, and there is something to be said about genuine sets and
Yeah.
genuine camaraderie.
Yes, well, and
actually being there with the other actor.
I was just gonna say, there's times in the new Aladdin movie where it's just so fucking clear that that actor and that actor and that actor were actually not on set the same day.
Yeah.
And you can just tell.
Sure.
Because there is no momentum, there is nothing that is pushing these performances forward.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of bad movie that I hate.
I see.
Because nobody gives a shit. And if nobody gives a shit, I don't give a shit.
But there could be a really bad movie that everyone gives a shit about.
Well, and that's how I felt about this. I felt like everybody was putting in the utmost effort.
Yeah.
And it's not great.
No.
But because they are working so hard,
Yeah.
there is a joy to this movie that I feel.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me, like, that's why I love this. Like, I really did love this movie
Yeah.
because of that joy.
Totally.
And I think that's why, I mean, again, going back to why I love this kind of, this podcast, is because a lot of these canon movies are not people being lazy. They are people just not doing things correctly.
I see.
But they are working.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that there wasn't much that didn't go right in this movie, though. It's a very simple story.
Totally.
There's a couple of goofy moments that kind of don't make sense.
Sure.
And yet, through the logic of the reality of the movie, it's fine. It's like the gangster not seeing the other gangster laying there, whatever. Fine. We get what's happening.
Yeah.
Under the car hood fight.
Sure.
Whatever. That's fine. It's
not,
goofy.
We were like, that's not the way it works.
It's
so
like
fine.
Acme logic, but it's still fine.
The movie's 87 minutes long.
Whatever. Yeah.
And
didn't lose a lot out of my life.
Well, I was gonna say, we didn't check the time once.
No.
I think that to me too is like an interesting part, is like 87 minutes.
Yeah.
It was 87 minutes. We didn't check the time.
Sure.
It was a good diversion of life.
Yeah. And what was the most important? It didn't feel like it had any malicious parts in it.
No.
The bad guy was a cartoon bad guy.
Right.
Everybody else kind of got along, even if they had rough patches, but there was nothing mean about this movie and the whole thing.
Right.
You know?
Well, and the two parts that were like the most problematic are at the very beginning and the very end. The Arab thing,
chic,
and then the removing of the girls'
clothes without them,
without their knowledge or permission.
Sure.
And in a weird way, you can almost chalk that up to like 1979.
The time, yes.
I mean, this movie, actually, we should point out, this movie came out almost 40 years to the date from now, from when we released it. Yeah,
that's
40 years
what
to the date.
Was it?
So yeah, this was released June 28th, 1979.
Okay.
And we're releasing this episode July 1st, 2019.
Right.
So 40 years later, times have changed.
Of course.
And I'm not okaying the actions necessarily.
No.
But for a movie for 1979, if that's the worst of it...
Pretty damn tame.
It's pretty tame.
Yeah.
Especially for like a sex comedy.
Totally.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, go.
One of the things I do really enjoy about this particular flick as well, that I thought was really funny. Do you remember that TV show Third Rock from the Sun?
Oh gosh, yeah. I loved it.
John Lithgow's character cites that this is Mary, who is played by Jane Curtin.
Right, yeah.
That this was her favorite movie in that show, which I think is just like a weird...
How random is that?
Random occurrence. Like, that's a weird connection.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's a fun deal.
It is a fun deal. Taglines, you'll love the service they give.
Of course.
And they also, tagline, they give new meaning to the term full service.
Wah, wah.
I know. The home video title was The Mechanic Girls.
The Mechanic Girls, all right.
The Mechanic Girls.
It's so funny because they are allowing men to sexually objectify them, but it's not any more torrid than that.
Yes. Which is interesting because a year later...
Right.
There's a movie called High Test Girls, which is a
Swedish film, right?
Porn film.
Yeah.
where it's basically the 6 women in here at a gas station and have sex with their customers while their cars are getting filled up outside. Which is, you know...
I'm glad that this wasn't that.
Yeah,
honestly.
I am too.
Yeah.
I am too.
I think they could have done it in a PG-13 way. Like, in this situation,
oh, yeah.
they could have done it and they could have suggested a lot to it.
Yeah.
But this was so much more innocent,
yes.
the way that they played it.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Which is fun.
So what's canon about this movie?
Yeah.
What things do you want to steal? Do you have anything? I have 3.
I think I really like the cartoonish bad guys.
Sure.
I'm always happy that the bad guys are so arch.
Yeah.
You know, that you absolutely you can point them out.
Yeah. In this particular style of film, I mean, obviously, all arch bad guys and everything is not.
No, but in canon films, when it's a comedy,
yeah,
it absolutely you can tell it's all but twisting the mustache. Yeah, absolutely. What about you?
I really love that nice visual of the modern to the shit gas station at the beginning.
That's really
really good shot.
That's beautiful.
And I thought it actually did one of those really great things of I needed no more exposition. I understood exactly what was happening with one shot.
Yes.
Yeah, competition, seeing them juxtaposed side by side. Yeah. I understood everything.
That was pretty cool.
Which I thought was really smart filmmaking.
Yeah.
I really loved the bad Paul Williams ripoff songs. I'm a huge fan of Paul Williams.
All right.
I thought the songs in this were a lot of fun.
Yes.
They were perfect for this. I'll probably I'll probably hum that one, the friend and a friend. I'll just the next 3 days. And then there were a couple of tropes from these kinds of sex comedies that I thought they used really well in this. One is there's always the goofy old guy.
All right.
Which I thought if we do a sex comedy, you have to have the goofy old guy.
Would you say that's Uncle Joe?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, yeah.
Then you have the boring principal. Principal.
That is, yes.
Yeah. And then there's always one guy named Pee-wee. Who is usually the sort of losery guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there was a Pee-wee in Porky's. I believe there's a Pee-wee in Screwballs.
Interesting.
And
I really liked that he and Plain Jane got together.
Yeah.
What an odd
couple.
Yeah, what an odd couple. But also, she was Hollywood plain.
Yeah, there was nothing plain about her.
She was quite attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked her.
She was just, I think her plainness was just that she didn't speak a lot.
She was reserved. Yeah, definitely.
Her plainness. Because in the opening sequence when everyone's graduation gowns are ripped off,
yes,
of the 5 women, 4 of them are topless.
Yep. She actually has a bra
on.
Yeah.
So,
I guess
part of her plainness is reserved, I guess? Question mark?
Sure.
I guess? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
cool.
I dug this movie.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as that, folks.
Simple as that.
Doesn't have to be a world-ending catastrophe or superheroes punching each other. No. You know, it can just be a simple,
basic
rags to riches story about a simple girl trying to
make it in this world.
Uncle's gas station.
Yeah.
The end. All right, Nicholas, what do we got next week going on?
Next week, we have a returning guest. We have Adrienne Whitney Patback for the film.
I know her.
Yes, so do I.
Hey.
So do people who listen to this podcast. She was on Cry in the Dark.
That's
Great
right.
episode.
Absolutely.
The Andrew McCarthy, Kim Cattrall, Estelle Getty, James Spader, G.W. Bailey, and Meshach Taylor, starring in...
What?
Mannequin!
Oh, Mannequin.
Such a good movie.
What a quintessential 80s movie.
Oh, God, I love that movie so much.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I think it'll be a blast.
Very fun.
Yeah, so come on back and listen to Mannequin.
Cool. All right, Nick, where can people follow you?
This week I'll be in Nebraska, so if you want to follow me, you have to go all the way out there and go around Lincoln finding me. Oh, you mean on the Soch?
If you want.
On the Soch. On the Socius.
I don't think anybody's following your GPS.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's all right.
Nicholas C. Pappas on Twitter.
All right.
And then check out my website, nicholascpappas.com.
Nice. You can follow me, the AJ Hamilton, on all of the things, and the website, justadded.com. You can follow us on Creating Canon, that's canon with 3 N's.
Technically,
Cannon. And you can email us at creatingcanon@gmail.com. And please, if you would like, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I almost said iTunes, but that doesn't exist anymore.
I guess not.
And YouTube. We post these episodes on YouTube. If you'd like to click a subscribe, and please interact. We love hearing your stories of passion about the Canon films that we do.
It feels like we've tapped into a really interesting niche group of people.
Yeah, a lot of cool people out there with Canon in their hearts.
Yes.
You know.
On that note.
So on that note, what do we say?
We say, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah, ooh ah. Canon is a ooh ah. Good night and good canon. Did you know I was going to do the ooh ah?
Not at all.
There's going to be like a 10-episode gap from the first introduction of Nate to the second introduction of Nate.
That's fine.
All right. I've been here all day.
I know that.
You're welcome.
It's been wonderful.
You're welcome.
Neither of the gas stations exist.
Neither of the gas stations exist. Hey, dog, how's life?
Bark.
Rough.
Oh, I get the joke.
It's one of my favorite jokes of all time. Is this guy goes to like a casting person with his dog, and he's like, "I've got an act for you. I have a talking dog." And the casting person's like, "Yeah, right. Let me see." And I goes, "All right. Fido, what's the consistency of sandpaper?" The dog goes, "Rough." He goes, "All right. Fido, what's on a tree?" The dog goes, "Bark." And the casting director's like, "You know what? This is stupid. Get out of my office. Get out of here. I'm done with you." So he kicks him out of the office. They get outside, and the dog looks at his owner and goes, "You think we should have had some harder questions?"